How to find the next 100x gem. Yep, you heard it right. Do you want to turn $1 into $100? Do you want to turn $10,000 into $10 million? Then this is the video for you, baby. Watch this video. We're going to talk about how to find the next 100x gem. And I hate to break it to you while I make my face, while I do some inception here on the screen. I'm clickbaiting you guys big time. Like, I'm going to have an amazing video planned for you. I promise. This is an absolute banger of a video. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about all the things that are actually controlling this market right now and what you need to be watching out for, because it's very important. There are a few certain things that are going to determine success and failure in this market right now. However, it's not going to be an instant, oh, turn $1 into $100. So if you're here to be serious about this market and find the next 100x gem over time here, over the next few weeks and months here, while this market plays out, then smash the like button for me, guys, because there's a big difference between just aping into something and saying, I'm going to be rich tomorrow. Like, we've all done that, right? And there's a time and a place for everything, guys. If we would have aped into stuff down here, right? If we would have aped in down here, then yes, we would have had a great time and we would have got that 100x, right? If we would have aped in down here, we would have had a great time and got that 100x. However, if you would have done the reverse and you would have bought up here, you would have been in for a world of hurt, right? There's a time and a place for everything. So smash the like button if you've learned that in crypto so far, that there is a time and a place to go after those 100x's. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what to look for so that you can actually snipe that 100x coin, but not 100x on the way down. Like, you're not going to buy it up here on the way down. You're going to buy it hopefully down here. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in this video. Now, I just want to go through this as fast as possible, guys. You guys know that I only talk about two things on this channel. 2+2 Genesis is the best NFT project in the world. There's only 1,953 units, an exclusive Discord, whitelists, AMAs, pencil token. We're literally just looking for people who want to be part of a community that is going to try to beat this market. And it's not going to be beaten by cheating and all this blah, blah, blah bullcrap that you see on the internet. This is going to be beaten by hardworking people who want to be a part of an amazing community, who want to actually learn, who want to actually research the best projects, who want to actually find stuff with a community that you could never find on your own. So if that sounds great, go search for 2+2 Genesis on OpenSea, or there's a link below that you can check out, guys. Or go to blockfi.com/Kale and make sure you put your stable coins into BlockFi. If you're not earning interest in some way, shape, or form on your dollars right now, I feel bad for you, because the government is printing so much money. Inflation is literally lighting your money on fire. Just picture a blowtorch going toward your savings account. That's what's happening to your savings account if you're not earning interest, at least to offset inflation. So I would really encourage you. BlockFi is my favorite place to do that. It's the safest place. You're not going to lose your coins. I would say that 99.9% of crypto investors should be using something like BlockFi to earn interest, especially on their dollars. That is just my personal opinion. You guys do whatever the hell you want. Now, let's get on with the video. Hey, I've got a banger plan for you. I really, really do. And so I just want to start off first and foremost by setting the stage. There are two words that are going to determine whether you have success or whether you have failure in this crypto market. Ready? I'm gonna show it to you right now. The first one is narrative. Narrative is the story that we tell each other, the story that we tell ourselves whenever we're buying something. There's a narrative for everything in your life, right? Everyone's like, hey, why'd you marry that girl? Well, she's beautiful. Her family's amazing. I love her personality. She makes me laugh. That's the story that you tell yourself for why you made a decision, right? Why did you buy Bitcoin? Well, there's only 21 million coins, and I listened to this podcast, and there's this really smart guy who told me to buy it, and it's gonna free the whole world in El Salvador, and yeah, Michael Saylor. That's the story you tell yourself as to why you buy something. So narratives are very powerful in this market. That is number one factor. Number two factor is adoption. You guys know when you're investing in anything, whether it's a company, whether it's a product, anything, there is an adoption curve. The adoption curve, if you don't know what this is, I'm not going to go into much detail. It's basically like, how long does it take for everyone to know about something, right? So there's always that person, that the first person to ever drink water out of a water bottle, he was like, oh, water, I'm going to try this crazy thing. It's amazing. And then it took like 5 years and everyone was like, oh, okay, that's great. And then eventually everyone drank water out of a water bottle. It's the same thing with crypto, guys. There is a curve where early adopters start first, and then eventually more people get into it, right? Mass adoption. And that is what we are looking at. Those two things are the biggest things, the only things that I'm concerned with when it comes to finding the next 100x. Because like I said, we need to find the next 100x here. We need to find it here, not up here. And in order to do that, we need to look at narratives and adoption, okay? And so first, let me talk about adoption real quick. And this is why I've been a lot more cautious on this channel over the past 2 or 3 months here. And here it is right here, okay? If you go to Raul Paul is one of the reasons, honestly, and like, it sucks because we were kind of all wrong, right? Plan B, Raul, me, every single person thought we were going to like 100K Bitcoin this year. And the reason for that was a lot of these things. And here he is backtracking and saying why we didn't go to 100K. One of the smartest guys in the world, by the way, this Raul guy. And so he's talking about adoption, and he's saying Bitcoin volumes. I'm going to move my face again. It's definitely in the way. Sorry. Let me move my face. Let me move my face. Okay. Bitcoin volumes have been stagnant since the run up in 2020. Look at that. No one is buying Bitcoin. The volume of people buying Bitcoin is down. Okay. Adoption is down, right? The active wallet addresses have not gone anywhere either. It seems that retail activity peaked at the beginning of 2021. So the retail investor, the average Joe, the people that actually would normally watch this video, that's why I titled this video, How to Get the Next 100X, guys, because it's just clickbait, right? Like those people that like those videos, right? The 100X videos, the videos they're like, oh my gosh, we're going to the moon. Those people have probably already left the market. So if you're one of the like serious people that is still here, please smash the like button for yourself, because honestly, I'm proud of you for sticking around, because those people that just came in like, yay, crypto, they're probably all gone, right? It seems that retail activity has peaked at the beginning of 2021. He's saying that it got replaced by institutions. However, a lot of those institutions got liquidated and have barely returned to the market. You can see that right here, right? They came into the market last year when Elon was in the market, right? And then after Elon dumped us down, they haven't come back. And so this is the adoption curve in real life. If we do not have adoption, like I said, if we don't have this going up and to the right, if we don't have more users coming onto the network, it's just like Facebook, right? Facebook isn't growing anymore, and that's why the valuation is coming down, because there's not any more users. If we don't get more users onto the crypto networks, we are not going to go up, okay? I'm sorry to break it to all the bulls in the back. Okay, so that's number one. When I see that adoption is not going off the charts, I have to really honestly think to myself, okay, if I want to find the next 100X, what is more likely? Is it more likely that from here at $44,000 Bitcoin that we go up and to the right, we just go straight up? Or is it more likely that we go down, right? And honestly, the more likely outcome might just be some of this sideways stuff, right? Because we're kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place here until something changes. And so that's my first thing. I'm thinking, okay, if there was a ton of users coming onto the network, then great, we could find these 100Xs. Once we don't have that, right? It's clear that we don't have that. And you can go check other people like Willy Woo or Clemente, all of these on-chain analyst guys. They will show you that, like, you know, the demand is not as juicy as it was back here. Like if you would have bought here, there was a big demand wave underneath you, but that demand wave is not there right now. Okay, so that moves me on to the next thing. The next thing that I look at is for when to time out these 100X waves is narrative, okay? Because if you're not going to have a bunch of like people coming onto the network to boost the price, you need a story. You need something that everyone is telling each other that are the reason why we are going to bring those people back in. Does that make sense? Because they're not here. The people are not here to buy. We need to bring that big money back in. We need to bring the big investors back in. We need to bring the small investors back in. We need to bring everybody back in. But what is that story going to be that is going to get them back in? And let me prove it. Let me just prove to you the power of stories right now. Because a lot of you guys are watching this. You're like, Kale, what are you even saying right now? You're not even talking about moving averages or any of that stuff that I see on other YouTube channels. Because I'm actually talking about what matters, guys. The only thing that matters is how many people are using the network and what story they're telling. Let me prove it to you, okay? Here's what story they were telling each other through the history of Bitcoin that you probably understand. There's way more if I go way back in time, but we'll just keep it to the past 2 years, okay? Past 2 years. Let me just break it down for you, okay? Here was the COVID crash. Back here, okay? What was the story? What was the narrative that was driving adoption, that was driving people to come back into the network? Well, it was money printing, MP. COVID caused a wave of money printing that took us all the way up here to our all-time high. It was a massive monster of a bull run, and that's because of this right here, this guy. He turned that money printer on, and everyone knew it. Everyone knew that the Fed was at our back and that we could buy these assets with literally no risk, and we went to the moon. So that was the money printer narrative. That's not even debatable that that's what it was. What caused this crash right here? It was another narrative. You know, it really was. And you know what I'm just going to call this narrative? Elon. It was Elon. Elon literally started this flood storm of like, Bitcoin's bad for the environment, and oh, China banning Bitcoin, and all of that stuff throughout the summer. You guys remember that? That was literally started by Elon, and it was a narrative about Bitcoin being, not ready for the mainstream, basically, right? That was the narrative. Okay, now I'll prove it to you again. What caused this? What caused this all the way back up to $69,000? It wasn't just like, oh, let's just buy Bitcoin now. No, it was everyone talking about one thing. What was it? For those of you guys who were in the back, what was it? It was the ETF. Everyone was talking about the ETF. Once the ETF gets approved, Bitcoin to the moon. Everyone was front running this ETF. And guess what? That's exactly why we went up here. Okay, boom. We had a narrative behind us. Remember, a story. Okay, the last one. How come we crashed all the way back down? Simple. Very, very simple. Inflation. CPI data marked the perfect top. I've shown this to you 50 times in this video, that the exact day that we topped out at $69,000 was the first day that CPI inflation data came out, right? Inflation data. I'll just put CPI. So that is why we have tanked here, because it has caused the money printer to slow down, in theory, because inflation is too high. So like I just showed you, right? The last 2 years have been defined by narratives, right? Completely. The narratives pull in the adoption. And so where we're at right now is that we don't have a narrative. We are stuck in this weird place where, like, literally, like, if we don't get a narrative, guys, I honestly believe for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months, we could easily just do this. Easily just do this, because there's no, like, one unified reason that we're telling ourselves that we should buy Bitcoin right now. Like, I gotta be honest with you guys. Like, Bitcoin controls the entire market. I'll talk about some smaller coins here in a second, but these coins, they're not gonna go up unless Bitcoin goes up, and Bitcoin's not gonna go up unless the narrative changes and we get adoption. Does that make sense? So that's how I'm thinking about the market. So everyone's asking me, like, Kale, what are you doing? Like, how are you processing all this? What are you thinking about on a day-to-day basis? Guys, I'm just trying to figure out what narrative is going to come through here. Is it going to be, I'm going to show you some examples, right? Here are some that I have my eyes on, okay? The first one is this FOMC narrative, right? The FOMC meeting is on March 15th and 16th, right? This is the classic example of the boy who cried wolf, okay? Because the Federal Reserve, this guy right here, has been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks here that they are going to slow down this money printer. There is no way that they are not going to slow down this money printer, right? They're going to slow it down. Now, it's all going to come to a head. It's all going to come to a peak right here on March, what is it? What day is it? March 15th and 16th. They are going to actually have to decide, are we going to slow down the money printer and raise interest rates or not? And so everyone's talking about it. Like, look at this headline. This is a headline. A firestorm of hawkish federal speculation erupts following strong U.S. inflation reading. Like, every single article has this crazy doomsday language. And so we're coming to a point next month where this guy's going to come up here and he's going to actually have to put his money where his mouth is. He's been crying wolf. You guys know this story, right? The boy who said wolf, wolf, wolf forever. He said it so many times and everyone was like, oh, whatever, there's no wolf. And then eventually there was a wolf and no one came to help him, right? And he killed all the sheep. That's what the story is. It's the same thing here. They've been screaming, we're going to slow down the money printer. We're going to slow down the money printer. Now they're going to actually have to do something. And so I'm watching that like a hawk. That's number one. If they decide to actually do something, if they decide to actually raise interest rates, then I expect Bitcoin to do kind of like this. I expect to go down here back below $30,000 and we're going to have the buying opportunity of a lifetime. And honestly, I kind of hope that happens because that would be an amazing buying opportunity. Okay, the next narrative that I'm looking for, and these are all more positive narratives, is this. Canada says it will freeze the bank accounts of Freedom Convoy truckers who continue their anti-vaccine mandate blockades. Freedom Convoy. Isn't this funny, right? We've always heard that Bitcoin is freedom money. Bitcoin is the money of the people. Bitcoin is uncensorable money. Like all these maximalists shouting, yay, Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Well, here is your chance, Bitcoin maximalists. This is your chance. Literally, the Canadian government is like, yo, we're going to take your money out your bank account, yo. So this is it. If Bitcoin really is freedom money, well, it needs to step up right now. It needs to rally right now behind this narrative of freedom money. You know, we need to see Canada adopting Bitcoin at an insane crazy rate right now because, hey, I don't want my money to be taken by the freaking government, right? And so if Bitcoin gets adopted and we get that narrative spun, that changes everything. Screw this guy. Who cares if the money printer slows down? We have countries using Bitcoin as a safe haven. That's way more powerful, right? So that's a narrative that I'm looking. Right now, though, I don't think that narrative is caught on. I don't think so at all. I think that there's like a couple people that care. This has to be like a global narrative. When we were here and I hate to belabor this, guys, but when we were here and pumping, it was a global narrative about money printing, global narrative about Elon, global narrative about ETF, global narrative about inflation. This whole Canada thing, it's not a global narrative. Like, I'm in Dubai right now. No one even knows. No one even cares. Like, it literally doesn't even matter. Like, it's no big deal. And so we need that to be a huge narrative if it's going to take off. So I'm watching that. I'm going to see, is this picking up steam, right? And then the other narratives are like, is Russia going to invade Ukraine? There's a million other things that are affecting like the overall narrative. But basically what I'm doing, guys, is I'm scrolling Twitter every day. I'm on YouTube every day. I'm in the Discord every day. I'm researching every single day, just like you. And I have my eyes on these narratives to see what is going to flip the script going forward. Okay. Now let's talk about the 100Xs, because I know it's the end of the video. A lot of you guys are probably like, oh, I'm so sick of this video. Well, here's what I think we need to do as well. We need to use the same strategy. First of all, for Bitcoin, we're thinking, okay, when is the narrative going to flip for Bitcoin? Because that gives us the green light to invest in some of these things like Altura, like D-Race, like Phantom. You guys know that these are some of my favorite projects and always have been my favorite projects. However, first of all, we need to take care of Bitcoin, right? We need to make sure that Bitcoin has a narrative behind us and is headed this way before we start aping into smaller coins that can make us even more money, right? And smaller projects, NFTs, it all goes together, right? And so I don't want to tie a bow on this. I hope you guys are still with me. Are you still focused? Are you still thinking? I think the same logic applies to these projects, right? What is the narrative going to be once we've gotten over the hump of the Bitcoin narrative? Once we've solved this Bitcoin narrative, whether it's freedom money, whether it's, the boy who cried wolf is just still crying wolf, right? Once we've got that narrative, we need a narrative for all these other smaller projects that are going to absolutely blow up. Is it going to be the smart NFT space? I personally think so. I think that smart NFTs in gaming is the future. I think that projects like Altura and D-Race, wow, I think that narrative is absolutely going to go insane once again, once we get Bitcoin to get its act together, right? Is it going to be a layer 1 coin like Phantom, an Ethereum killer, something that can come in and displace Ethereum as the number one, alternate coin? I think that Phantom could have a massive run. I really, really do. Is it going to be DeFi stuff like Drip, which I've kind of mentioned here? I'm still looking into this, by the way. These are not financial recommendations. Don't go ape into these. You guys, if you've been watching the video, you guys know we need to straighten out our Bitcoin position first, right? Anchor. Is it going to be a DeFi position like Anchor where you're making 19%, what is it, 19% interest right now just staking a stable coin, a really, really solid stable coin, UST? I mean, there are so many projects and narratives that could spring up once we have this Bitcoin narrative, because I promise you guys, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking like, okay. We're going to get freedom money. We're going to get something to get us bullish underneath Bitcoin again. I don't know when it's going to happen, whether it's this month, next month, whatever. That's definitely going to happen. Bitcoin's going to start heading towards 100K. That's going to be great. Then we need to figure out what is going to be the narrative. Is it going to be NFTs? Is it going to be smart NFTs? Is it going to be racing? And then we'll buy those coins and we'll make even more money, okay? And so that's what I'm doing, guys. I hope that summarized it all. It was a lot, I know, but that's what I'm doing day in and day out. I'm dedicating my entire life to literally just figuring out that narrative, that adoption, what NFT. We're looking into a bunch of NFTs as well. I think that NFTs are a great way to make money right now. While Bitcoin is sideways, NFTs are going great. So we're doing a lot of that. I'm not going to mention any of them on this channel because the channel's too big, but we're doing a lot of that. We're looking into these projects. We're getting whitelists, we're getting Discords, we're getting all AMAs with founders. All of this is happening in 2+2. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check it out. But that's all I got for you guys today. If that made sense to you, do me one huge favor, just one favor for the love of God, and smash the like button, because I'm trying to get my mind, what's going on in my mind, out to you guys, and I hope that helps you. So anyway, love you guys. See you guys in the next one. Peace.